All right, so today I have a slightly different topic. I'm looking into solutions for video streaming of sports games. This comes out of a Reddit post I did a while back where I explored different options for recording, live streaming, social media highlights, analytics of team sports. And since then, I've tried out a bunch of different solutions, and I just want to show them a little bit in this video. One of the things that I very quickly realized is that I was looking for a unicorn. There is no solution that can do all of the things I mentioned at a very high quality. There is no silver bullet. I've been doing high-level sports for 20, 30, 40 years now. I'm getting up there in age. And as I was doing more and more coaching, I realized it would really be helpful to have more video footage. And because they're just players that you cannot explain to them in theory what happened, right? You cannot, after a situation, explain to them, okay, you went this way, you should have gone that way. They just cannot visualize it. So having video material is key to really communicate to these types of players what the expectations are as a coach. On top of that, it really became clear to me that people, especially younger players, care a lot if the world is watching. And so just having a camera up there will mean that they will go that much harder. And, you know, if you can have some social media footage afterwards, it just drives their motivations at practices and things like that. So there are a lot of benefits for just reaching higher levels from recording video. Now, I mentioned that there is sort of a tension between all these different things that you want to achieve. So, for example, around live streaming, not all camera setups will be able to do live streamings. Not all of them will be able to add a scoreboard. Not all of them will be able to have live commentary and replays. Then when it comes to highlights, you really want a highlight to be high resolution, high frame rate, so you can slow it down. So that also creates some more requirements. Then for analytics, you really want to have the full view of the field so that you can show people how something developed, even if it was, away from the ball or the disc or whatever. Another thing to consider here is obviously if you're an amateur, it's like, what does it cost? How big is it? How much does it weigh? How easy it is to set up? How easy it is to find people that can also run this system to support you? How rain and windproof it is. So overall, these were all considerations that you have to look into. Now, in terms of cost, and that's already pretty steep. Like I gave myself kind of a budget of up to 3K when I started to explore this. And with 3K, I mean a solution that can kind of do it all, but specifically can really give you very high quality live streaming setups. If you don't need the live streaming component, you can get very good results for much less than that, way below a 1K. Also, because I'm, an amateur, I don't have a car. I go to by train everywhere. So I need something that can fit in a large bag or my little trolley that I have. And more importantly, especially because I want to use it for live streaming. And in that live streaming situation, I will be busy doing things like live commentary and replays. I need the camera to essentially do its work on its own. Similarly, if I'm at practice, I cannot focus on the camera. It just needs to work. So having AI tracking is the absolute key must feature for me. Another thing to consider with all of these setups is you need some sort of elevation in order to really be able to capture any meaningful footage. If you're really low, that can be very good, like B-roll type footage that, communicates kind of the movement and action of people, but it's not going to give you an idea what's actually happening on the field. So you need a tripod, or you need to be able to get up into stands or to prop up stuff on a pole or a fence. So yeah, enough theory about this. Maybe one last bit is that I will have some affiliate links in the descriptions. So these will, bring some monetary benefit back, but I will donate any monetary benefits back to the Ultimate Frisbee Foundation here in Switzerland, on whose behalf I've been doing a lot of this testing. As you can see, there are quite a lot of devices here that you could play around with. And so one of them is the GoPro. So this is a GoPro 12. I have a mod lens mod attached here. The mod lens mod basically gives you about 170-degree field of view with some distortion. You can also see that I have the media mod around it. So this gives you a better microphone, and most importantly, it gives you the ability to attach an HDMI cable, mini HDMI, in order to get the video out into the video streamer that I use, which is this Magewell Director Mini. So it's very compact, has basically the ability to have HDMI in. You can also stream via RTMP, etc. So that's kind of the device that I'm using for the live streaming setup. Now, the GoPro is pretty cool in the sense that it is weatherproof. It's very compact. It costs a couple hundred, but it's not insanely expensive, and you can get very, pretty decently high resolution stuff out of this, but at a very high frame rate. There is no optical zoom on this at all, but it really gets the job done. If you're looking at soccer, Ultimate Frisbee is slightly less wide but equally long fields. So it's a very good solution. Now, what's kind of disappointing with them is a bunch of things. The software is just horrible. They have this quick software. They briefly had it out for desktop, then they dropped it, then they came back with it, and now they dropped it again. So you can only do edits on mobile, but the edits here is really for very short highlights and not really dealing with a longer videos. So it's really good if you have like a bunch of short clips and you want to shorten them up even more and put some music underneath. But for longer videos, it's just not a good solution. That's why I would also not recommend their subscription, which is cool because it automatically downloads the video footage. But then it's on their platform and you can't really do anything useful with it. I have a short video that I will share where I propped up the GoPro just at the end zone of one of the end zones. And so you just look downfield. It's not the ideal perspective to really do analytics or understand what's happening on the field in depth, but it was a really great way to get a highlight out of a game. So this is really cool. Now you can also, of course, put this camera up on the sideline. You need to be a little bit back in order to really capture the entire field, because it's only 170-degree field of view. I usually just forfeit parts of the end zones because at least as a coach, those are not really the most important areas that you need to focus on. And so I stay somewhat close, like 3 to 4 meters away from the field. I usually just use a very short tripod for compactness, like something that gets you up like 2.5 meters or something like that. And that works really well as well. And I will link a video of that up here. So moving on, my current preferred solution for live streaming is from XBotGo. I originally bought this thing here. So this is a gimbal. You put your phone in here, and then with an app, it can actually do auto tracking. So it automatically moves itself. I have used this, however, also manually. So for example, when I was recording throwing technique, so it's really cool for that as well, that you can basically just, you hold it here and then move it along as the players are moving on the field. The more sophisticated solution, so the more sophisticated solution that they have, is the Chameleon. And as you can see, this has an internal camera, but this camera is not used for recording the actual footage. This camera is only used for the AI tracking. So whereas with the gimbal, the phone camera footage was used both for the AI tracking and the recording, here this camera is only used for the AI tracking, and then you prop your phone in here. This can swivel left and right, up and down, yeah, it can get you very high quality footage because this has a 120-degree field of view. So it's very wide. So it looks actually further left and right of where the camera is recording. And so it can be much smarter in the algorithm. Because it just provides more data. It's also quite cool. It has USB-C here on the back, so you can actually use this to charge another device like your phone while you're using it. So this is a really cool solution. They also have this remote here. I find it super cumbersome to use. It works for both the gimbal and the Chameleon, but the biggest problem is that it uses Bluetooth. And Bluetooth is just not a good device or protocol for this because it's just very slow. It goes to sleep because of battery use and things like that. So it works. You can make final or like just some minor adjustments if the tracking gets kind of confused, and which happens whenever there's stoppage on the field. So sometimes when there's stoppage and somebody is running on the sideline or kids are playing on the sideline, it will start looking at the sideline rather than what's happening on the field. And then the remote can be very useful. What's also cool is that they actually have an Apple Watch app. So you can also do these corrections from the Apple Watch app. And what's even cooler, the Apple Watch app also gives you a live preview. Yeah, it's, obviously a small screen. I'll share a video of how that works as well. Now, what's interesting with the Chameleon is because it uses this separate camera for the AI tracking is that you don't actually need to use a phone up on the Chameleon. You still need a phone to do the AI tracking, but you can put a GoPro on top of here and use the GoPro for recording. And this is actually my preferred way to use the Chameleon, mostly because that way I have the phone down with me, so I can make start, stop, and things like that from the phone in my hand. And also it's this way you can get clean HDMI into your video switcher. So with clean HDMI, I mean none of the UI elements shown on what is live streamed. The only way to achieve that with the Chameleon is by using RTMP out of the app. So basically you're streaming wirelessly into your video streamer via RTMP, but that limits you to 1080p with 30 frames per second, and it's just not a very good quality video. Now, as you notice, I have two of these, and that's mostly because there are some kind of areas that are problematic. So this here, to kind of fasten the phone, this arrived broken when I got my first Chameleon. And so they were really kind. They sent me an entirely new device. So now I have two of these. But that's one area that apparently seems to break easily. So you have to be very careful how you use this knob up here. The other area where people were complaining is that this thing down here, if you twist this onto a tripod, this is where it swivels, right? So this is it doesn't like that when you put a lot of pressure on this. So it's highly recommended to actually use like a fast release that you attach to this, so you actually don't need to screw something in and out all the time. But I have not had any hardware issues outside that broken unit that I got on delivery. But as you can see, I've now screwed this in here, and with that, basically now I have two devices, one for the GoPro and one for the phone. What is really annoying is that you need a very, very small kind of connector here. And I only found one on Amazon US, which was very cheap, but obviously took quite some time to get delivered to Europe.